Hello friends, how you doing? Day 193. I'm just taking a break from a seminar I got today. And yeah, to share some thoughts. I just finished, not finished today, but yesterday, I finished watching a video by Gabor Mate. It was called The Wisdom of Trauma. And wow, I think everyone should watch it. There's a lot of really great information out there. And yeah, some of it, I've heard before, but some of it is quite surprising as well. And so, the video itself was basically Gabor Mate. He was the main person along it that the video was following along, and basically, he interviewed a number of people on their experiences with trauma and addiction and everything, and it's quite surprising, some of the stuff. And so I took some notes. I just want to kind of share some of that stuff, and hopefully it can open your eyes up to some stuff. But to be honest, best thing you can do if you really want to learn is just go to the video and watch it yourself. It's available until Monday, I believe, the 14th. And very simple. Just go to the website, wisdomoftrauma.com, and the video's up there. It's free. It's about an hour and a half, but you can watch it at faster speed if you want. But yeah, there were some stats where basically it talks about trauma being an invisible force that shapes our lives. And hold on, let's see something else I have there. Because the way it shapes our lives is because it's how we make sense of the world when we experience trauma. It's the root of our deepest wounds. And that's kind of where anxiety and a lot of just chronic illness comes from as well. Of course, this is not the only place, but it follows the journey, right? And some startling facts is that 1 in 5, this is Americans, is diagnosed with mental illness in any given year. That's 20% people. That's a lot of people. Suicide is the second most common cause of death in the U.S. for youth aged 15 to 24, and kills over 800,000 people globally. That's almost 1 million people. Wow. Drug overdose kills 81,000 in the U.S. annually, and the autoimmune epidemics affects 24 million people in the U.S. And in the video, it actually traces it back to a lot of just like trauma, and there's some really interesting things that they share on that. And it talks about, first of all, when we run into people who are addicted or homeless, right? Sometimes, or people who've gone through some trauma, sometimes we think that's a bad thing. And instead of asking what's wrong with people, what we should really be asking is, what did that person go through? Because when you understand a person's story and their journey, hopefully you'll understand that they're just human and just trying to make sense of the world around them and the experiences they've gone through. And the video starts off talking about children, right? Because we were all children at one point, right? And the thing is, they're not traumatized because they're hurt or they've gone through something. They're traumatized because they're alone when they're hurt. They have no one to turn to, no one that they can trust. So if they've gone through maybe an abusive household or what have you, it's when they're alone is when they actually get traumatized, because they don't know how to make sense of the situation and they don't have any support, right? And essentially, children have two fundamental needs. One is attachment, and the other one is authenticity, right? It's the connection with ourselves. That's in line with your gut instinct, and it's a part of surviving. It's a necessity of surviving. Oh, notification there. And in the video it also asks, yes, Donna, it was a great documentary, amazing. It talks about instead of asking why the pain, instead ask why the addiction. Because addiction typically comes from trauma and wanting to escape the suffering. The thing is, without addiction, when you've gone through some trauma, people feel incomplete inside. And the thing is, it's a temporary feeling. And what people are actually seeking when it comes to addiction is they want to escape reality. Okay, and when you really think about it, in the video, it talks about how addiction is actually a solution to a problem. And what was really surprising is when people were sharing what that does for them, it says that it gives them a sense of freedom, of being wanted, of being complete, self-esteem, sense of being alive. I'm like, that was just very foreign to me. But that's what it gave people in that, during that difficult time in their life. And then it goes to, okay, well, how do we heal addiction? To heal addiction, we have to heal the trauma. And how can we help support somebody through that? Is we gotta see the wound inside the person. Because if you really understand, like, underneath each person is a healthy person who just hasn't had a chance to express themselves. Yes, Donna, definitely. Yeah, I love your comments. Keep sharing. There's a lot of great stuff. And you know, instead of asking what happened to us, instead of asking what's wrong with us, ask what happened to us, right? And so there's just so many things. I could share so many things, and really, that's kind of a part of this, the live that I wanted to share. Just some of the stuff that I got from it. It's like, wow, this is amazing. And you know, when we're talking about adults, right? Trauma is not the event that happens to you, but the internal response that results from what happened to you. Let me read that again. Oh. Let me read that again. Trauma is not the event that happens to you, but the internal response that results from what happened to you. So again, it just goes back to not having support or feeling alone when going through something. Okay? And what happens is, most of the time, what results is disconnection, ultimately from ourselves. And so we're trying to fill that void, or try to be connected again, right? So that's why connection is so important. When we're going through something, just, so if you know who somebody is going through some traumatic experience, right? A lot of times, or will help them get through that, is just knowing that they're not alone. We don't necessarily have to fix the problem or whatever. It's just, it can just be a hand or a hug or just sitting with somebody. And if they know that they're not alone and they feel connected with another human being, the difficulty or the trauma that they're going through actually will not be as huge of an event that it would have been. And that, to me, was the biggest takeaway from that, is that, you know what? We don't need to solve answers. We don't need to fix other people's stuff. Most important is just to be there for them. Let them know that they're not alone. Again, the word is connection. And that is just so huge. It's kind of interesting, you know, when I did my values exercise about a year ago, you know, I've done a number of values exercises, right? And I was challenged to actually come down with one overarching value. And for me, the word was connection. And, you know, just like, you know, maybe that's why all this stuff is so huge to me. Because to me, that's so huge, that's so important. And it's a part of the human experience, right? We all want to be connected. We all want to feel that we belong. We all want to have a sense of, you know, just having a good self-esteem and an identity, right? And so, what Donna's saying, yeah, people don't choose to be addicted or to be homeless, and that's true, right? Like, they're just trying to make sense of what's happening in the world, and we don't need any more judging. That's a huge thing. Unfortunately, in our society, they judge all the time, and that's not what they need. Because what if you were in that situation? You never know. You never know if you're ever in a certain situation. So my hope is that we extend more love and compassion and understanding and patience with others. Empathy. You know, we just never know what's going on in somebody's life. And all they really need is just to be seen. That's one of the biggest things. And I was talking to a friend who, has a certain addiction right now. And my friend, not him, but a friend of his, he's trying to say, I don't know how to help him. And, some of the stuff he's doing was actually enabling his addiction. And I said, well, why are you doing that? And this was actually before me seeing this there's a video. But I was just sharing with him, like, at the end of the day, right, if you really want to help him, number one, you got to start enabling the poor choices. Biggest thing is just to let him know that you accept him no matter what choices he makes. And not just once, not just twice, but just be there as a friend. Treat him as a human being. Don't judge him. Just love him. Accept him. That's really what he needs. Because through his addiction, he's trying to figure out, why am I here? Because, he's had some suicidal thoughts. Because if I'm not seen, there's no point in me being in this world. And I just encourage my friend, just accept him, love him. And he was sharing how some of the other friends were starting to draw back because they're not seeing him make any changes. And I just reminded my friend, I'm like, that's when your friend needs you the most. Again, not to fix it, not to tell him what to do, but just to accept him. Just let him know that, hey, no matter what you do, I'm still here as a friend. I'm not going to continue enabling you with these decisions, these poor choices that you're making, but I'm here. Just sitting with you. And really, that's all anybody really needs when they're going through a hard time. Okay? Let's see. Anything else I want to share with this? Oh yeah, here's a quote that I've heard before in different ways, but it's also very powerful. We don't respond to what happens to us. We typically respond to what we perceive happened to us. And the interesting thing is, if you think about all the reasons of why something happened, we typically choose the worst option first. Isn't that interesting? And why do we do that, right? We jump to the worst conclusion or the option. Of all the options of why something happened, we chose the worst one, right? There could be a number of reasons, right? Protection, what have you. But if you think about that, then we always have a choice, right? And typically what happens to us, it's our filter's perception that actually clouds our judgment and how things really are. And so, let's see. Again, we're not here to heal anybody, but to be able to help a person expand, they need space to heal. And that's where we can come in and just be there and sit with somebody. Meet people where they're at. Don't try to change them. And when you do that, it opens up the possibility for transformation, because it allows them the space to change. We can't change anybody. We can't make anybody change. You guys realize that, right? But what we can do is give them the space. They probably already have a lot of people who are judging them in so many different ways. They probably have such a low self-esteem already. Because if they're in a dark place, they're probably thinking, oh, they're looking down on me. They're thinking I'm a horrible person. I'm useless. I'm unworthy. They already think about themselves in that way. And if through your actions and your energy, you're confirming that with them, you're not actually helping. And I think what we need more in this world is just more love and acceptance. And all we need to do is just give people that space to grow. That's it. Accept them as they are. And again, don't try to fix them. They have to want to make a better life for themselves. And for them to do that, they need to feel that they're worthy and they're important enough to do that, to make those different decisions. So, anyways, that's all I want to share. Again, if you guys haven't seen it, go watch it. I think everyone should watch it, to be honest. Again, wisdomoftrauma.com. it'll definitely, yes, Don, it will definitely open your eyes, mind, and heart. And obviously, for me, I want to be able to spread positivity, love, and compassion. Anyways, with that, I'll say I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.